Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. I'm so glad you're here. This is kind of supposed to be a quiet Saturday afternoon. As a market news and commentary, we had a lot of stories about the next drug scam and a whole lot about Kim Jong nunchucks, and we've got Iran in play. But there's more and more. The world's a busy place. We broke for you the story last week about the pending Latin America debt crisis. We told you how your money market fund, mutual fund, retirement account, 10K, REK, 401K, RICO, DECO, BICO is all tied in soon to be worthless Latin American shit debt. You have been warned. Go in there, say, give me my money. I want my money. Yes, but you see where you got, what about your retirement calculator? You can stick the calculator up your ass. I'm going to treasurydirect.gov. I'm buying my U.S. government securities at the highest rates in a decade. I'm locking them in, and I'm going to be fat and sassy. Oh, well, you can't have your money. Wait, you get a surprise. It's your money? See if it's your money anymore. You just think it's your money. Anyway, as we speak, Argentina's meeting with the kiss of death, Lagarde. Oh, that's a nasty babe there. Oh, my God. She, reminds you of that CIA babe. You know, these are some cold-hearted people. Anyway, they're there trying to figure out how they're going to extract blood from a turnip. You know, they say you can't get blood from a turnip. You know what the IMF says? No problem. We'll just settle for turnip juice. We don't care, as long as we got something to squeeze. But now, what you don't know is Mexico's in trouble. Mexican peso's been dropping like a rock. Brazil? Oh, shit. Real? Oh, man, that's a nightmare in itself. But the story today is, one, again, to me, is forgetting to tell you is that, see, the spin is, since all the fun guys are doing a manipulation of the oil market, you've heard about $80 barrel oil, $100 barrel oil, oh, bullshit. But the deal is this, what they're trying to convince you of is the fact that, oh, my God, we're going to run out of oil again. Oh, no, oil, yes, oh, shit. What's happening? Well, there's a war in the Middle East. And they want you to believe that oil out of Iran is coming out of the market. It's only 500,000 barrels a day. It's not. And Venezuela is still pumping out about 1 million barrels a day. Yeah, in spite of all the strife. But what they don't want you to know is Venezuela is close to solving its problem. See, they got this guy called a bus driver, okay? You know, and the bus driver's driving around, and he became a chauffeur. He got a friend with this guy, with Chavez, the dictator-elect down there. Chavez is a very popular communist. And Chavez did very well. See, Chavez's formula was, he wasn't smart like he thought he was. He was down there for that $100, $150 barrel oil. And any idiot can make money at that price, okay? And unfortunately, this latest guy, Maduro, well, the problem is Maduro ended up there for that $35 oil shit. So kind of hard to be great with the big differential. So no matter what you did was wrong. But what's happened is he's run his course. The Venezuelan people are getting ready to throw his ass out. The elections are now on May 20th. And Maduro is going to be replaced. And you need to understand, he's been in power since 2013. And he is not very popular right now. They're going to throw his ass out. Now, let me tell you the inside story. They were talking about regime change. The military was very close to saying, let's do this Latin American style, amigo. And everybody, calmer heads prevailed. They went, well, let's do it this way. So he's so unpopular. He is going to be out on his ass. And the new people are coming in there, and they're letting it be known that they're ready to do business. They're ready to honor contracts, and they're ready to make things work. Let me tell you a little story that they're not letting you know about. What's happened is Venezuela nationalized some oil company assets, okay? And some people were really pissed about that stunt, right? And what's happened is the mood is changing there. And they realize that they've got to have the oil companies in there. And they're going to have them pumping, and they're going to have to make this thing work, and that's all there is to it, okay? They have no choice. So what's happening is the elections are going to be big, they're going to be contested, but they're all ready for a change. Now, the other side of this oil story is one of, if Venezuela doesn't come out of the marketplace, then our buddies have got a big problem in oil mystery wonderland that have set the market and run it higher and higher and higher. Now, let me give you another little scenario that they want you to know about, and that is, after the elections, the oil companies will be welcomed back into Venezuela. And they're going to come there, and they're going to pump the shit out of oil, and Venezuela will be at 2 million barrels a day in less than 12 months. And when that happens, oh my God, they're going to go ahead and they're going to swamp this market. In fact, let me tell you a little secret. What's going to happen is Venezuela will double its production. It will be the OPEC oil buster, and they will absolutely change the equation in ways that most people don't realize. Venezuelans have had enough. They are absolutely through with this. They've had their little commie experiment. It failed. The people are tired of being poor. They are not stupid. They know they've got a vast oil business, and they know that they are not capable of bringing that oil to market. Are you hearing me? They know they can't do it. Now, the communists threw out the oil companies with all kinds of nasty shit, and it was really nasty and ugly. But let me tell you about oil companies. When you're in the oil business, getting your ass thrown out of a country, well, that's just kind of like, I woke up one day, where did we get our ass thrown out now? No big deal, okay? And let me tell you, very quickly, all's forgiven, and it's like, can you feel the love? Oh, my God, can you understand that there's a regime change coming, and there is going to be an entirely new system there. And the surprise for the oil market is, and I'm here to announce to you, is that there will be a regime change in Venezuela. 20th is not a long time to wait. And listen to me carefully. The oil companies had a lot of properties seized by this Maduro bastard. The courts in Caracas have given judgments of the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to those oil companies to get their assets back, okay? In other words, do you understand the change? The change is that the Venezuelan people are rising up. You saw that. Okay, I'll tell you a good example of that. Remember Egypt, when the bros came to town, the Islamic bros, destroyed it. They were going to put Sharia law, no drinking on the beach and all that shit. The people in Egypt said, bullshit. They had a regime change. They cut their balls off, cut up their heads, got rid of all these radical assholes and said, we are not going to Sharia law. We are not putting our women in those tents. We are going to have our beer, and we're going to have our life. Screw you. And all the preachers, this is the Islamic preachers on every street corner telling about their sins and shit. Them guys, when they're walking around with no fingernails and toenails, the ones that are still walking, a lot of them ain't even walking. The Egyptians woke up and said, bullshit, we're done. They raised $5 billion. They expanded the canal, and they got their economy cooking down there. And they got oil deals and gas deals, and really, they're really cooking, okay? It didn't take goddamn long. Now, let me tell you about Venezuela. Despite the bullshit, the Venezuelan people are energetic. Forget this lazy Latino bullshit. It's a dynamic country. They lost their way, okay? And it's a warning to us because we're losing our way with Donald Trump. They lost their way, and now they said, we're done. And hopefully, Maduro does not win re-election, okay? Now, if he doesn't, and it's kind of up for grabs, right? In other words, will they grow up and will they go ahead and have a regime change? It looks like there's a regime change is coming, okay? And it looks like May 20th is a very important date on my calendar, I've got to tell you. And I can tell you that people are really sick of this shit. Now, I was looking for a sign. Listen, I'm really good at this shit, okay? And, you got to get a sniff of things. If it smells like shit, looks like shit, throw it on the wall and it sticks, must be shit, okay? Now, there's corruption galore. Everybody's got a dog in the hunt. Who knows what's going to happen? There's no guarantees. But the sniff I've got is that the oil companies are ready to come back and do business. And they sent a signal. The signal was, so you got to understand how things work in that part of the world. The signal was the court said, Your oil assets were seized, and shit, you can have them back. Here's a judgment, okay? What they did was, they've made it rock and roll time again. They made it so that the money is going to flow. Oil companies, like I say, look, if you think an oil company is going to get their assets nationalized and leave the country and go, boo-hoo, we got hurt, we got burned, bullshit. That's all part of the equation, okay? I don't know why, but there's so much oil in some shithole places in the planet, okay? And if you're in the oil business, you know, look, in Iraq, they have armies protecting the oil wells so they can stay in production. Armies, okay? And the oil's coming out of there. Now, they might be blowing up the tomato market, and they may have a little rock and roll party after Friday prayers of the marks. But they aren't screwing with them oil properties. I'll tell you what, you'll get your ass shot off in a minute, and it is not going to be nice and not going to be fair. And that's how the game's played. In Venezuela, I got the most important message I could have, and that was that hell no, we are not going to seize these assets. These belong to the oil companies. Nice try, Maduro, you asshole. And that means that things are getting ready to rock down there. Now, if the elections go like I think they will, it's going to be a nasty, dirty election, don't get me wrong. That's how Latin America works. But if that comes unglued like I think it will, oh my God, you're going to wake up one day, and what you're going to see is a regime change. By the way, I can tell you that Colombia and the people who have influence, if you understand my meaning about influence Latin American style, they're talking about regime change. Okay, I've got some pretty good connections down there telling me, yeah, it looks like they're ready this time. The people are tired of this shit. Because remember, you have a lot of poor people in Venezuela. And, you know, everybody has to pander to them. And, you know, if you're poor in Latin American country, you're a socialist, obviously, okay? That's just the way it goes. Now, don't get upset. Don't get mad. Just understand that's how it works. You know, one of the things that Trump brings to us is not understanding that countries can be democracies and still have different ways of going about things, okay? I mean, the French see democracy different than the English. And the Italians, well, they're Italians. I mean, that's just how they do things, okay? You don't get upset about that, but you work along with the framework they have, and if you're smart, then you can do some pretty great things. If you got your head up your ass, and it's got to be, you know, red-blooded American style, it just doesn't work. I mean, it's nice, but it just doesn't work, okay? And this is the kind of situation that is growing and growing and growing here. I want to be very clear. The revolution for you are two things you need to understand. Number one, there's a Latin American crisis building big, and that debt is held by stupid shit retirees that got that little retirement counter kicked and said, how many years of retirement, and how much do you make a year now, and, you know, do you own your house? Window questionnaire? And then they said, oh, well, you got to have this junk bond shit crap that's going to be worthless. And they bought it. And what they don't know is it's full of shit debt that will never be paid, okay? That's so you got, like I said, you got Argentina negotiations as you speak. You got Venezuela that's going to be coming for a bailout next. You got Cuba. Cuba ain't shit, but Cuba's in trouble. Colombia's sucking hind tit there. You got Brazil going to go real big time into a death plunge. So, what's the solution? Well, here's the deal. They can produce soybeans a hell of a lot cheaper than we can. And they're going to get access to markets we can't. The problem is what they got to do is they got to reset the Richter scale, okay? They got to reset their economies. And what do they do? Well, it's real simple. You devaluate the shit out of your currency. You default on your debt and go, bye-bye, adios, amigo. You know, see you later, bye, sucker. And they do it all over again. And the idea that, oh, if you default on your debt, you never get debt again, they just give it a couple, 3 years, and they're right back in there rolling, rocking and rolling the debt markets all over again, okay? That's bullshit. So what you got going on is, I'm telling you, Latin America is about to stick all that debt, and let me tell you, we got no friends in Latin America with Trump. Mexico, going to stick debt up the gringo's ass? No problem here. Colombia, what do you think? No problem. Venezuela? Brazil? Party time. You can still come for Carnival. So you're about to see huge debt defaults and currency devaluations throughout Latin America. Now, the other side of the story is that in these 20th elections, May 20th, we believe now, by the way, that wasn't the case. This is kind of like the way Latin America works is they got to come to, they're different, it's a different type of society, different type of people. And one that most Americans don't understand. That's why so many Americans do not understand the immigrants coming here to clean your toilets. If you understood the culture and the people, you'd probably have a different attitude. But, by God, they're taking my goddamn job. I'm going to shoot their ass, load in the back of a pickup truck here, and let them run with the blood all over the place. I'm going to take it down to the car wash, put 50 cents in there, hose the blood out, and then I'm going to dump them down there in the cornfield. By God, I'm making America great again. Okay, well, okay, that's fine. See how far you get with that shit, okay? You better be a little more cosmopolitan and worldly in your view, especially since with people like Donald Trump, America ain't going to be the kick-ass power much longer. Yeah, you heard. That's what I said, yeah. Now, unite the world against you, and you go into these forays, they'll let you go there and spend, what do we spend, $1 trillion? What? Okay, we spent $1 trillion in Iraq, right? Well, what do we have to show for it, okay? $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there, pretty soon you ain't got nothing left. Many empires have dissipated their wealth on stupid-ass wars and battles, fighting things that nobody cared about, okay? I just thought I'd mention that to you. And you're headed down that road. So now Venezuela, the secret I'm going to give you, the surprise is that as soon as the regime change occurs, as a result of the Caracas courts, by the way, they are going to give the oil companies back their assets, and they're going to identify them, and they're going to say, hey, we owe you $650 billion, $1 billion. Here's $1 billion worth of oil properties. Here's your lease. Thank you very much. We're so sorry. Can we rock and roll again? The oil company's going to go, hell yeah, baby. We're here to play. Then we pay to play. And then you're going to see 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. Again, here. Want to hear another prediction? Let me look at my crystal ball. Ooh. All right, I talked to the Booga Boogas. They said Venezuela in the next 5 years will be at 5 million barrels a day of oil exported. It comes from the big lakes of oil they got. Yeah, that's what the Booga Boogas say. And I say 2 million barrels a day, here we come. And OPEC, let's look at OPEC. Booga Booga. All I see is piles of Campbell shit and dates. Oh, no. The malls with the great ski scopes, the stores with the gold hanging from the floor to ceiling, turn into Campbell shit and dates? Oh, no. How horrible. I know you'll be upset about that. Let me tell you, fracking, the biggest oil fields in the world are no longer in the Middle East. The cheapest production is no longer in the Middle East. Venezuela has lakes of oil. And all you got to do is get that oil come down and run a little pipe and just suck that shit off, and that's what's going to happen. So I'm here to tell you that you got 3 things going on. Number one, if you're in any kind of mutual fund, refund, defund, high yield, low yield, no yield, retirement savings calculation account, well, here's the calculation for you. You're screwed. And it's Latin America debt that's going to be the next wipeout, and it's already started, can't be reversed. And that's 1. 2. There is going to be a revolution in Venezuela. I don't think it's going to be bloody, but it could be. The military is sick of it. The powers that be are rising up now, and they got a consensus. And that's very important among the Latino culture, okay? They really need a consensus, and they have their own way of doing it. Sometimes it takes an incredibly long time to put the shit together, but they do it. So that's the second news I got for you. And the third news is Venezuela oil in 6 months will be flowing to market. The Caracas courts, I thought, holy shit, what a ruling this was. I got a copy of it. My buddy contacted me. He goes, you're not going to believe what happened down here in the district court. I go, what? I'm giving the oil company back their properties and giving them judgments left and right. Oh, my God. See? There is everything right in the world, and the good guys do win every once in a while. How do you like that shit? By the way, that's a major change in that game there, and that is going to change the entire complexion. You know what OPEC's problem is? Listen to me carefully. They can't cut oil fast enough to compensate for the increased oil that's coming from everywhere in the world. If you understand that, then you can move forward and hone in your view of what the world's going to look like. Remember, it's very important. Remember, the thing that traders do is taking things and moving them into areas that people don't understand, okay? And what they do is they take you away from the logic, and they convince you white is black. I've often said that. So they want to convince you we need $80 to $100 barrel oil because demand is rising at record amounts, which is not, because Saudi Arabia is going to cut oil in Russia, and because Venezuela is going to come out, and now the next bullshit is Iranian oil is going to come out of the market. So they quickly come up with the 2 million barrels a day. And I go, what about the 2 million barrels a day being increased because of fracking? Never mind, it's going to make the markets too tight. And you go, oh, bullshit. Okay, so that's the spin. Then they all pile onto an oil trade, buying it long. Okay, and then the next thing that happens is, well, I've been there over and over again. It's like, ah, shit. You're wiped out again, buddy. Party's over. Oh, my God. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a happy day. I know a lot of business out of Venezuela. Fantastic people. Very cultured people. A very educated, very European base. They know how to do this. Okay, the problem is that, like I said, it's just unfortunate as hell that Chavez came to town, and that kind of got him in the wrong direction. Does that make any sense to you? And now what's happening is, like Egypt, the people are throwing off the yoke of tyranny. Well, that's a hard thing to do, by the way. In America, you don't understand that, okay? But the people who came before you did. Many people paid a high price so that you could be free. And it's a shame people don't appreciate it, right? But that'll change. Anyway, what's going on here is this. The world is changing very quickly. I tell you, it's this communication thing. Listen to me. You can go to any shithole village in Venezuela, and they're watching the soccer games around the world. You go to shithole village, and they're watching the Cannes Film Festival. They are wired in, and they can tell you the accessories on the new pickup truck. People want it. They want to change. They're yearning for what they see and they can't have. And now they got a chance. There's one little, listen, I'm really good at this. And the job is that, I got to dig through these piles of bullshit. Bullshit. Oh, no. Trump here? What? Watch it. Yep, definitely that smell. And what happened was Conoco is authorized to seize $636 million in Venezuela oil company assets. Okay. The court has authorized ConocoPhillips to seize $636 million assets belonging to the Venezuela State Oil Company due to the 2007-9 nationalization of the U.S. oil company's major projects in Venezuela. This is the latest to enforce $2 billion in arbitrations that are coming from the International Chamber of Commerce over the nationalization. Now, what happened was, see, the problem. Let me how this works. I've been through this shit. You go down there to Panama and you go into court on the arbitration. We had a situation of a factory dispute, and you win the arbitration, okay? And it's expensive and it's time consuming. Moves at the Latino pace, right? Well, now the problem is you got to get that judgment and you got to go back to the country where the action started and now you got to get the court to recognize the judgment, authorize it, and you start the whole shitting thing all over again, right? But if you're a persistent son of a bitch, you can get it done, okay? Then it becomes political. Now listen to me carefully. This is the first time the Venezuelan courts are recognizing these judgments. And you know what this means? This means there's a God. And this means that everybody gets to turn the switch, and the commies are getting out of their ass, okay? And Venezuelan crude production is like at a 30-year low. But let me tell you, listen carefully. All this shit's there. Don't let them bullshit you. The pipelines are there. The rigs are there. You wouldn't believe the amount of equipment there. Oh, it needs maintenance. But I'll tell you what, you crank that shit up in no time. And now, they got a brain drain. Anybody that had any brains got the hell out of there, the management prices. Well, let me tell you. You just wave a few dollar bills, everybody comes back home. It's like all in the pool. Water's fine, guys. We got, it's like a pool. You had a turd floating in the water. Everybody out of the pool. There's a turd there. Of course, I think it's bullshit, but I say it's a turd. All right, you scoop the turd out, you put the chlorine in the pool. All right, everybody back in the pool. And that's Venezuela. Everybody's about ready to get back in the pool. At a time of ridiculously high oil company prices. Oh, my God. Oh. Well, basically, what's happened is this is going to change the equation. This is incredible. Now, see, listen to me. I got a ridiculously high oil price, which means they can capitalize back at $35 a barrel oil. It's a problem. $70 a barrel oil? Party time, baby. Okay? The oil companies they got nice, fat bank accounts. They go ahead back where they know the territory, they know the equipment, they got the leases, they know how it works. To re-crank up operations, that's a slam dunk. You get on the phone, Jorge, como está? Venga aquí. Jorge then comes back to the factory because he don't want to be in Colombia, and he don't want to work that offshore rig in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. He wants to be home. And he comes back in, and they're victory. They have a party, everybody gets drunk, and back to work they go with the hangovers, and the shit starts getting produced. I've been there, I've seen them do it. So this is a huge piece of the puzzle, a big one. In other words, the judgment is settled. They're going to get back their nationalized oil properties. And then the next thing is the partnership. I'm telling you, how this works. When you beat the shit out of them in a bit of a fight, and all of a sudden it's like all's forgotten, and they partnership up, and everybody goes home happy. That's one. The second piece of the puzzle I need to get this Maduro out of office. I don't care if he goes out in a limousine, a victory party. I don't go damn if he goes out of office in a box. I don't give a damn if he becomes Casper the ghost and they can't find him. Whatever it takes. And the elections is a nice... Now, the better way... Listen to me. Things can spin very quickly out of hand in Latin American countries especially, okay? You don't want that to happen. So if everybody goes home nice and everybody goes home happy, everybody makes a deal. Maduro stole a lot of money. Let him keep it. Go home. He'll have his condominium in Miami. Got to have a condominium in Miami. I don't know what this big thing about these Latin American dictators. He's going to get his condominium in Miami. And his wife and his daughters and his sons will all be very wealthy people. Everybody goes home happy. Game, set, match. This is a solution in the work, and I hope to God we can get it. Now, with that, see, that's signaling, okay? Latin America, it's always the signs. If you want to be there, you really got to watch for the signs, okay? You got to really know how to read the tea leaves. And Americans are pretty shitty at that, okay? And they don't do well a lot of times in these projects. But if you got the finesse and the right connections and the patience, because things work at a maddening slow rate. They've been fighting this thing for 10 years. 10 years they've been fighting this case, and they finally, I remember when they got the judgment, and they took it to Caracas, and I'll tell you what, guaranteed if Maduro had a way, because he's the one that did it, they would never, ever, ever, ever get this judgment. Now they got it. So now it's a question of just negotiating how you do it. Now, if Maduro... Here's the downside. If Maduro stays in power, they're going to hide assets, and this whole sad opera is going to continue. But with the pieces of the price of oil, the desperation, the people are tired of this bullshit, I think we got a real good shot. So May 20th will tell us a big story. But listen to me. If they get a regime change in the May 20 elections, the oil market is going to figure out, well, you're going to $30 barrel oil in a year. You are going to see so much Venezuela oil come on and sweet oil. See, they're in a very much a sweet spot. They're at the very corner there, okay? And that means that they're just right lap up against the Atlantic Ocean. It's a straight shot across to the hungry oil refiners of Europe, okay? Now, you go west, it's a straight shot to Panama Canal if you look at a map, okay? So they are in an ideal position to supply either part of the world with oil, the west or the east, okay? All the refineries can take their crude, by the way. And now you've got the refineries in the Caribbean that have been gone to rot and gone to shit. They get cranked up very quickly. That means you're going to have surplus oil, surplus gasoline up to yang, and it ain't going to take long to happen. And OPEC, what? Yep. I see Saudi Arabia, and all I see is people milking camels for the milk, the leche, camel leche, very good, by the way. And they got date farms. Well, what's that, Ben? Oh, that's your old oil rig? Oh, you don't need them anymore. Nobody buys your shit? I'm sorry to hear that. So that's the future. You got a taste of it, okay? By the way, the other side of this equation is fracking. You know the sanctions with Russia? That is slowing down the fracking, right? But our little birdie told me that they're about to negotiate a deal on that, and that means that, we start fracking in Russia? Remember that Trans-Siberian pipeline? Hooked up, ready to go, and pump it oil. By the way, you want to do something really cool? That crazy president of that country, the dictator-elect, Vladimir, we always have to people named Vladimir. Vladimir went there with a big party to sign his name on the pipeline, right? I guarantee anybody screws with that little signature there, they're going to end up with that guy in England that opened his doorknob only to find out it was covered with colorless, odorless, tasteless nerve agent. Okay. Yeah, how do you like that? Latin America debt crisis. So what do? Well, we're trading the shit out of oil. We know how to make money on that shit, don't we? Man, oh man, the plunge is coming. And for those of you who got money in high yield retirement savings accounts with the calculator, all I can say is thank you for your donation. And by the way, if you come around sometime, you can come by. If you go to the yacht havens of the world after this wipeout, you'll be able to visit your money because the big boys are setting to suck you dry again. I just want you to know that's called suck you dry again, and they're laying it up. Remember, retail is to be eaten, okay? It's called food. So they thank you for your donation, and if you go and go, well, we believe that the right, if you talk to your funny man, well, yeah, you're right, there's a problem there, but don't listen to that guy. And you see, we're sophisticated, and you have to know the right debt to hold, and we know the right debt. Let me tell you something. A year ago, I watched fund managers buy 100-year, 7% yield Venezuela note. I said, what in the hell are you doing? He goes, listen, 7% yield in a 3% yield. No, it was about that. Was what, 1.75 yield market? He goes, I look like a genius. I go, they're never going to pay. He goes, I don't give a shit. See, normally I got to hide my bad deals in the back of the desk drawer when I'm out of here. 100 years? I don't give a shit. Dig my bones up and tell me I was a son of a bitch. I'm buying the shit out of it. I go, you're buying issue of debt from a country you know is about to go broke. And you're buying 100-year-old paper at a yield that in 2 years will be not beneficial. He goes, yep, I sure as shit am because I get my bonus once a year. I'll get 2 bonuses out of this deal. And he did. And now the 7-year, 100-year paper from Argentina, they did the same shit with this Venezuela crap. Okay, I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine. He goes, we got a hot deal here now. I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, we're buying this Venezuela debt. I said, what are you talking about? They're going to default. He goes, yeah, I know, but until then, the interest rate is double digits. By the way, just another little fairy tale I should let you know about. When the Venezuela oil starts flowing, they still aren't going to pay off that debt. I just thought I'd mention it to you. No, when you loan money to a Latin American country, it's understood that they get to keep it, especially if you're a gringo. Anyway, my pleasure. I like that for a little story for you. Huh? Put that in. Yeah, why don't you see hello, CNBC. Hello, sweet tits. How you doing, honey? Oh, Mr. Good Looking. Do you know about the Venezuela elections and the judgment from the Caribbean Court of Arbitration? Yeah, you know, right? Oh, yeah. I'm a cool dude. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I like this job because I'm home by noon and I can be with my kids. Really, asshole. Wait. Do you understand what we just talked about? Well, I don't. It's not on the teleprompter yet. I just have to wait and I just read what they tell me. Okay. All right. Well, it's amazing how much people are ready to lose these assholes. Unbelievable. No credibility, no knowledge, and all the whole thing is a disinformation campaign of the 5 funds that run the market, control the finances, and got your money, and they're going to take it, and you ain't going to get shit. Now, if you're in TreasuryDirect.gov, well, you realize the party you're going to have, right? 10 cents. By the way, I think it's 5 cents on the dollar. Yeah, by the assets of the baby boomers, 5 cents on the dollar. Anyway, my pleasure, guys. Venezuela, 20. We'll be on top of this like stink on shit. This judgment is the Crocus courts. Okay. By the way, I'll tell you what. This is in closing. I was aware when they got the chamber issuing the arbitration that there was no doubt they were going to win that. But I did not think the judgment would reaffirm. I thought they would wait till after Maduro went maybe went shark fishing. Shark bait. Someday I'll tell you about the helicopter story with Maduro. They had him on a helicopter. They're about to shoot his ass and throw him out, and he came back victorious. Now, how do you like that for a bit of intrigue? Anyway, I'll explain it to you later. Bye-bye.